the serenity of Gilchrist Park, and I agree with this person who just spoke. I would not want to live across from continuous noise, even if the intensity wasn't that much. The fact that it's continuous would be grating. And I do find that changes the atmosphere of the park for people that appreciate the serenity of the place. The second thing, in terms of the lawsuit, we need an endpoint. And so I'm going to ask the attorney, can you give us a date when you would be ready for a hearing? I mean, if you're gonna say, well, we need shade meetings and another one and another one and another one, we definitely need to go with March 8th. If you say April 3rd would give you enough time to do everything you need to do, I would be willing to discuss the possibility of moving it. But if it's just an open-ended thing, then we'll stick with 8th. What do you think? I mean, can you come up with a date where you'd have all your shade meetings done?
May I respond?
Sure.
Okay. I believe that, as is the case in much litigation, that there's an opportunity for a settlement. I have not had the opportunity to discuss my thoughts about the case, the strengths, and every case has a weakness and the weakness. I'm optimistic that after the city council hears my input and I get their input, that we'll be in a position to make a proposal of some sort. I will tell you from my own opinion that the settlement proposal that you put on a table will not be accepted 100%. Very few settlement proposals are accepted first time through. I don't anticipate the need for more than one shade meeting. I would get the direction, and based on that direction, act accordingly. Now, you may have a counter proposal, which then might also require another shade meeting. But what you're doing now is saying we want to put the issue before the court without a reasonable opportunity to save the city attorney's fees.
Right.
Which you may or may not have a concern about. And I'd be prepared to go to trial, go to a hearing on the 8th, but that doesn't really get us closer to where we need to be, particularly if the court ultimately disagrees, it's not ripe for summary judgment. So you give the city council an opportunity to hear my position on March 8th. We might be close to a settlement by the end of April. It depends on how far apart we might be. We can go to trial and not worry about settling the case. I'm trying to do my best to come to a reasonable response.
Okay.
But you've put the gun to our head, and you have not, and you've withdrawn the settlement. So we're prepared to go to the hearing on March 8th.
Okay, so if you have a shade meeting, you come up with a counter proposal, then we accepted the counter proposal,
Yeah.
then that would be it. You wouldn't need another shade meeting.
No, that is
Right.
correct.
Okay. So if we let you have a shade meeting and if we got a hearing date that was, say, March 30th,
Right.
then that would give you an opportunity to at least discuss the proposal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
My job as the city attorney is to try to give the best advice I can in an effort to avoid litigation.
Right.
Because litigation costs the city a lot of money. And if there's a reasonable settlement that can be made, I would prefer to give the city that option than to go through a trial, which I believe we will win. You obviously don't believe that, but that's your prerogative. But if there's a way that we can meet each other in the middle and avoid the cost of litigation, I'm hopeful we can get to that point. But, one more thing, if I can. But right now, since you've taken the settlement proposal off the table, I have to prepare for a court hearing on March 8th, which is gonna cost the city a fair amount of money, because it's not only myself, but my litigators that prepare for that. So that's where we're at.
Okay. So, I mean, do we have the opportunity to change what we've said?
Well, let's put it this way. If you're gonna change what you said, you better do it now, because this is the only opportunity the city council's gonna have to schedule a shade meeting in a reasonable period of time.
Okay. Well, I can't do that without my
Okay, well, see you in court on the 8th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
God, I want to talk,
Yes, I do too.
I know, but
but we can't.
we can't. Okay, any other citizen comments? With that said, we're dismissed, or adjourned.